The Vatican in cinema, exploring the fascination with papal mystique on screen. In just a few days, the iconic white smoke will rise from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel once again, heralding the election of a new pope to the Christian world. The recent passing of Pope Francis at the age of 88 on Easter Monday has reignited interest in the fascinating and age-old ritual of the papal conclave. This secretive ceremony, steeped in tradition and drama, has captivated filmmakers for over a century, making it a rich source of inspiration for cinematic storytelling. Despite his humble demeanor and rejection of the trappings of papal grandeur, the late Pope Francis emerged as one of the most cinematic popes in recent history. Not only did he find himself portrayed on screen, but his influence also sparked a wave of ecclesiastical cinema. During his 12-year papacy, the presence of cardinals, popes, and bishops, both real and fictional, graced our screens more frequently than in any era since the golden age of biblical epics. Ironically, the man who shunned the pomp of office became the darling of the film industry. The papacy, with its inherent spectacle, has always been a magnet for drama, whether the popes embraced it or not. The conclave, where 235 cardinals gather in hushed secrecy to select a new pontiff, is a treasure trove of intrigue, an intense mix of political maneuvering, ideological clashes, and spiritual fervor. One of the most recent films to explore this captivating process is the Oscar-winning A Conclave, based on Robert Harris's novel and directed by Edward Berger. In this gripping tale, Ralph Fiennes portrays a cardinal ensnared in a web of scandal and revelation. The film's climax revolves around the unexpected rise of a reformist Mexican cardinal with a deeply personal secret, serving as a poignant tribute to the late Pope Francis himself. Conclave transforms one of the world's most secretive rituals into a thrilling cinematic experience. It's a locked-room mystery that artfully demystifies the grandeur of the papacy without diminishing its significance. With ballots burned, secrets exchanged, and the apostolic palace serving as a stage for unchecked ambition, the film reframes the papal succession as a riveting political drama. Before A Conclave brought these shadowy rituals to life, there was Nanni Moretti's We Have a Pope, Habemus Papam, a 2011 comedy drama that humorously tackled the existential crisis of papal selection. The newly elected pontiff, played by Michel Piccoli, grapples with the overwhelming absurdity of his role, fleeing his responsibilities while the cardinals are trapped in the Vatican, unable to leave until a new pope is revealed. Meanwhile, the chosen one wanders the streets of Rome, seeking therapy from an atheist, an amusing twist that humanizes the Holy Father through sheer panic. Moretti's satire was groundbreaking in its exploration of the question, what if the Pope just didn't want to do it? It took the weight of the papal office and infused it with a relatable sense of anxiety, paving the way for a more human portrayal of leadership that Pope Francis would come to embody. The idea that a pope might be reluctant or even incapable of fulfilling his duties was no longer seen as heretical, but rather profoundly human. Fernando Meirelles' 2019 film The Two Popes took this humanization even further. Based loosely on real conversations between Pope Benedict XVI and Jorge Mario Bergoglio, later Francis, the film features two men strolling through the Vatican gardens, sipping Fanta, sharing pizza, and engaging in deep discussions about God, guilt, and the future of the Church. Jonathan Pryce's portrayal of Bergoglio is filled with wistful clarity, while Anthony Hopkins' Benedict is a figure of rigidity and weariness. This theological chess match, infused with warmth and humor, ultimately finds common ground between two contrasting worldviews by treating each man as a person rather than just a title. Not all cinematic depictions of popes are steeped in slow-burning diplomacy, however. Ron Howard's 2009 adaptation of Dan Brown's Angels and Demons takes the conclave hostage in a thrilling, albeit absurd, narrative filled with antimatter, secret societies, and even a papal kidnapping. As Tom Hanks races through the Vatican's labyrinthine tunnels to avert disaster, the film, while undeniably silly, manages to infuse the conclave with a sense of urgency and gravity, thanks to its Hans Zimmer score. Another unique entry in this genre is Peter Richardson's 1991 slapstick comedy The Pope Must Die. A bumbling, Elvis-loving priest, played by Robbie Coltrane, is mistakenly elected pope and quickly finds himself in trouble with the Vatican mafia. This unabashedly blasphemous film, rich in British satire, portrays the papacy as a seat of institutional chaos. Although it sparked controversy upon its release and was even retitled The Pope Must Die in some markets, it now stands as a punk-inspired critique of church pageantry. On a more serious note, 1968's The Shoes of the Fisherman features Anthony Quinn as a Ukrainian archbishop unexpectedly elevated to the papacy during Cold War tensions. The newly crowned pope must navigate the treacherous waters of geopolitics, nuclear diplomacy, and his own spiritual dilemmas. This film, reminiscent of Dr. Zhivago but set in the ecclesiastical world, portrays the papacy as a platform for moral leadership rather than mere symbolism, foreshadowing Francis's role as the people's pope, as striving to be both shepherd and statesman. Though technically a miniseries, Paolo Sorrentino's The Young Pope and its sequel The New Pope deserve mention for their wildly stylized take on the papacy. Jude Law's Pope Pius XIII struts through the Vatican in immaculate white robes, smoking cigarettes and dispensing cryptic wisdom like a rock star with a persecution complex. Sorrentino transforms the papacy into a surreal performance art piece, complete with giraffes and softcore nuns, while subtly reflecting on how the modern papacy has become as much a media construct as a spiritual office. Lastly, Wim Wenders' documentary Pope Francis, a man of his word, offers a poignant portrait of the late Pope, featuring him speaking directly to the camera as if addressing viewers face-to-face. This intimate approach, while not a traditional narrative, effectively captures the essence of Francis as a compassionate confessor to the world. As we now enter a new chapter with the Church preparing for the ritual of succession, the world waits with bated breath for a new face to emerge on the balcony, ready to wave and embrace the faithful.